Welcome to Cultivate with Jessica Taghap, a new podcast exploring different art forms and their creative processes through interviews with some of the most exciting artists working today. For our inaugural episode, I chatted with director, or as we say in Filipino, Direk, Johmar Damiles, and his colleagues, producer Anna Velario, and co-writer, editor, and creative producer Julius Renomeron, all of whom comprise the Metro Manila-based Gate 11 collective. Their short film, Hot Seat, recently made its international premiere at the New York Asian Film Festival back in July, where I briefly met Direk Damiles, who was kind enough to let me interview him and Gate 11. The group spoke with me about their early days meeting individually as students before forming the collective, their struggles and importance of collaboration in the Philippine indie film scene, and how to sustain creativity. And with that, let's start the show. Yeah, so Jomar, I met you, I think, briefly at NYAFF.
Yeah.
That was really a fun night. So yeah, so basically I just wanted to sort of talk about kind of your background as a filmmaker. We'll talk a little bit about Hot Seat, of course, but I kind of wanted to sort of pick your brain about your creative process, your filmmaking process, how you got into filmmaking. So yeah, I guess we can start a little bit about sort of like your background, like if you studied filmmaking in school and sort of how you got into filmmaking and then how you extended sort of your work into collaborating with your friends here.
Yes. Okay, I'll
Yeah.
start. Yeah.
Yes,
So
please.
yeah, hi, I'm Jomar. So I'm with my friends who was also my like part of the collective, which is Gate 11.
Gate
So
11.
where did we start doing filmmaking? When did we start, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
sure. I
yeah.
mean, you can
Okay.
start as early as you want. I mean, did you study
Okay.
filmmaking in
Uh,
college or?
the earliest time that I did filmmaking was in high school, actually. Like we had this project when I was in high school in English. Like we have to like adapt a theater, what do you call this in here? Theater play? Theater play. So you have to record it. No, no, like a film. Wait, sorry. Si ano, si yung ano, Romeo and Juliet. Yeah, yeah, we have to adapt
Uh-huh.
like a modern iteration of like Romeo and Juliet. So like we have to make it
Oh,
in.
okay.
So yeah, I did that, and then like we showed it in the high school auditorium, and everybody laughed actually. Like
Oh, wow.
like this is like bad filmmaking. Like this is where it
Oh
started.
no.
Like everyone laughed, like, and our like a counterpart, our rivals, like, oh, they have like a graphic effects, or like they have like, oh, good,
Hmm.
thriller short film, like, oh, and we're doing this kind of, but then yeah, that's where it started. Like got it piqued my brain, like, oh, what if I pursue filmmaking? But then during college, I did not pursue any creative endeavors.
Hmm.
Like I did not pursue any
Right.
creative
I think you
like,
studied, I saw that you studied communications
yeah, yeah, I did
in
study
San
communication, but
Tomas.
then yeah, yeah,
Ah.
but then before I entered like BS biology in University of Santo Tomas. So I studied
Oh.
biology for like 2 years,
Oh, wow.
and I shifted because of him. And no, not because of
Ah.
him. Because I met Julius in an college org. It's a publication in UST. It's called Tomasino Web. So
Ah.
when I was studying BS biology, I met Julius. So he was the creative director of like Tomasino Web of the organization.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, but when then we started like collaborating. I was a photographer. Yeah,
He applied as a photographer in our org,
yeah.
and then he became more interested in
Video.
videography. He became my director of photography in my short films, and then he shifted to communication.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The communication. So Julius, I go into this.
in I studied engineering, and then I shifted to communication arts
Okay.
too. So it's a
Right. And
funny.
those are like transferable skills anyway in communications. So that does make sense that you guys, yeah, started over there.
And
But
then
okay, so you guys knew each other in college, and then from there, yeah, you went into how long was it until you started to really like go deep into filmmaking? Was that around the time you did Mud Mud or
Oh, wait, that's when
Yeah.
with Anna. Yeah. So yeah.
Actually, they were friends first before we all met. Because there was a time that they weren't talking to each other as friends.
oh
So
wow.
that was
Uh,
they're not talking to each other. That's when I met Julius. I tried to apply to the same organization we were in, but I had two organizations. One was the digital publication of our university, and the other is the film organization of our university. So I was taking communication arts, same as them, but they were in different blocks. So when we all gathered in one space, I guess we were all, oh, you like filmmaking? Oh, I like it too. So we can make
mhm.
we can make films or something. So that's when I had like a different friendship with Julius and Jomar. Then they eventually got,
Got
Reconnected.
back together.
back together, and then we all started making short films as a team at the latter parts of our college life. So I guess that was when we all sparked something as a group that yeah, I think this is something we should do.
Yeah.
But we all but by the time we graduated, we actually all parted in different ways. It was only after like 2 years after our graduation that we really started doing it professionally.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because
So,
after graduation, I did not pursue filmmaking. I did advertising, editing, like in the industry. Like it's a different industry, but yeah, I think it's the same. Like still video editing, like directing,
mhm.
but then it's not filmmaking. Julius, on the other hand, is like he did filmmaking once.
For high school.
I know, like after graduation.
After graduation, I
Yeah.
did a little production assistant work for independent films, but
Mhm.
it was a
But
bad
it was sort
experience.
of oh really?
Yeah, the industry here is quite hard.
Yeah.
Mm. What
Uh,
so
I
like
felt
what is the indie scene like in the Philippines at the moment or from your experience at least?
uh it was a pre-pandemic experience. I'm not
Mhm.
sure if it's still the same, but
Mhm.
the pre-pandemic independent scene was quite hard since the hours are very long. Like
Mm,
it's a first in, last out type of
Okay.
situation. Like I'm the first to
right.
go in the set, and I'm the last one to go out. Like it's kinda hard physically, mentally for me. Like I
Mhm.
I was really suffering mentally throughout the
Mhm.
experience because I was not prepared na to experience that after college. I was culture shock. I never thought
Right.
that it was that hard.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Adding to what Julius said, because when we graduated, we all had different like we had a conflict before we didn't talk, so it
Mm,
was same with them. But they made a short film after that. Then I went into the industry after that. Julius tried the industry for a few projects, but the span that we weren't talking together, I was in the industry already. So I was there for an independent company, and initially it was what Julius said. It was really like shocking how people treat each other, and sometimes like hours would go like more than 24 hours. Um, so the working conditions was very difficult, especially in the production indie productions, because they have little money, so they have to take in so much work and put out so much effort, because the teams are usually just small, and we weren't really trained to how other countries would work in smaller teams. So what happens, for example, for me, I'm a production associate back then, so I take in so many tasks for just one person, and it feels like the the talent fees that we get is pretty small. So
Right.
that time it was really difficult, but then the pandemic came in and we realized, oh, we can do something more efficient and more proper for people. And then after that, we had this Eddie Garcia law after the pandemic. Then we realized, oh, we can do this. I mean, we can do like proper hours, and we can have like proper contracts with people, because usually we don't give out contracts. We just talk about it like this is the rate and this is how it we're going to go through. Um, so yeah, I think there is this development from indie production before to now, getting a little bit healthier. But if it were us back then, it was really difficult, and it was really like life changing for us, especially that maybe because we thought that filmmaking was a little bit glossier, or it was very idealized. Then when we got into it, oh shucks, we have to really, really work our asses off just to make a film.
Yeah, given to our background that in UST we don't have like a specific film course, or
Mhm.
like we don't
Mm,
focus on
right.
filmmaking itself. We only have like at least two courses, which is the film theory and the film production. So we only have like a year to
Mhm.
to finish it. So given to our background that we only do filmmaking for our organization for our free time,
Mhm.
so you don't have any idea what the film industry looks like, or what film industry feels like. So when we graduated, we were shocked
Yeah.
actually, like, oh, this is the film industry. I thought they're just like,
Mm-hmm.
everyone's passionate, like, yeah, we can do everything. And then,
No.
but then it's very toxic. Like, okay, there's some people, I mean, who are, very toxic.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but then we realized na, we still love filmmaking.
Yeah, that
And and it did not stop us, I think, like, oh, what if after pandemic,
we tried.
what if we reach out with each other again, like, hey, I know you're going through something, but you wanna,
Mm-hmm.
like, from a dump on filmmaking or something. So, like, channel that,
Yeah, channel that
so
anger.
channel this energy, and then, like, put it into filmmaking. So yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that was, I think, 2022 when
Yeah.
we went
Mhm.
back together and we did that our first collaborated
Yeah,
film.
because I think back in 2022, the industry is starting to uh,
Come back to
Come
go
back.
back
go
to
film.
normal.
Yeah.
And a lot of uh, the Film Development Council of the Philippines started giving out
Mhm.
grants for
Grants.
short films,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we applied for it, and thankfully
we got we
Mm-hmm.
got we got it.
We got
and it's one of the few grants that they give generous amounts of
Mhm.
support for
Up
incoming
and coming
Yeah.
filmmakers
filmmakers. Yeah.
in the Philippines. And yeah, it's quite hard process
Yeah.
to complete, since it took us like about almost half a year
half a
to
year.
complete our first short for FPCP, but I think it was worth it.
I think
Yeah, it was,
I
right?
think
Mm-hmm.
we only learned the fundamentals of filmmaking we entered back home, or like when we entered our first film in
Yeah.
that Cine Kabataan.
That was our first film together. It's called Back Home. This was actually like a coming back film for us. So we're
Mhm.
trying to like test everything out with ourselves, the theme, also with how we work. So we also like try to think about how we were also treated in usual production studios. Like we're not supposed to like be the monsters we saw before. So we
Yeah.
try as much as possible to be as humane to each other as we want, but also maintaining the professional standards that we would want to be in this whole setup. So it was a very difficult balancing act since you really some things really just get into your nerves. So
Mhm.
yeah, but we're still friends. We're still friends.
Yeah, there's
Well,
something good.
it all worked out. Clearly,
Yeah.
you
It's
guys are
kind of
still
like
here.
testing the waters
Yeah.
for how we work and how we want to see the industry in the
Right.
future.
Yeah, you
Same.
definitely have
Yeah.
to establish a healthy work environment, and then hopefully that leads that bleeds into the work itself. So where are you all based? Are you in Manila or
So I'm based here in Quezon City. Julius is from Cainta,
I'm
Rizal.
Rizal. I'm from Rizal. I'm
uh,
Rizal. I'm from Rizal.
Yeah.
I'm from Marikina, but generally we're all based in Metro Manila, so
So
we're
we
just here.
okay.
It's anywhere, from anywhere and all.
Oh, great, great. So so yeah, so going into from that first experience and um how has your creative process developed and changed since then?
um since we don't have any, like, the fundamental skills before college, like we were so free, I think, like, oh, what if we
Hmm.
should, I have this idea, like, oh, let's create this 5-minute short, like, oh, we don't have to do the script, and like we just vibe, and then, oh, what if we do this, what if we do that. So before it was like that, but then right now I think it's very processed, I think, but at the same time it's still very fun. We're still playing around, we're still playing outside the box. We want to always do that. But then now we have this, like, structure
Mhm.
from writing this idea to, to the screen itself. We created our own system. Like when we write together, like we learned from the industry, and we learned from friends, we learned from the internet, and then applied it to our own.
I
So
think
yeah.
I think it's a combination of learning from past
Yeah.
mistakes and
Mm.
uh, learning from other peers as well in the
Yeah.
industry. Like there are a lot of
Sorry.
Our cat is
Oh, we have another guest today. Um, so in terms of the films themselves, they're or at least with Hot Seat, they're very sort of I can tell it's a very intimate kind of story and it's very focused on a certain idea. Do you start with, does that usually start with the writing? Is it the same every time where you start with the idea? Does it spark from one person specifically? Do you collaborate that early on together on the story? How does it work? It's all
What?
her.
I started with Anna, actually.
Uh,
No, it was just we started Hotsy when we saw like a video online of ano
of a
yun?
of a
Of a
of a
kid,
teenager,
a teenager or a kid like getting something from a store.
getting some no, 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 getting outside of his home, like sneaking out of his home, and then
yeah, he
like
was.
Ayan.
It was a boy who was sneaking out of his
oh
home
wow.
to go to a party.
to go to, like,
Oh,
fans, and it was
Yes,
fun.
yes.
Yeah,
It was a
funny,
funny
yeah.
but then
Mhm.
eventually
Yeah, but
Anna
so like, wait, what if? So the what if started. What if
Mm.
two kids? So usually we start off brainstorming like that. We see something outside, we see something online, or we see something in ourselves. Like, wait, what if?
What
Yeah.
Mhm.
So so when usually when like those what ifs are very solid, it sounds really fun. Also, the other side of that, that was the time that a few days after that, there's a deadline for our Sinica Bataan. So like, what if we
Mm.
just use this? So let's start bouncing off ideas. Then it formed into something presentable. Then we tried to submit it to Sinica Bataan. Then luckily we got in for that.
and then the story kind of developed into a much more
a deeper and
personal story.
Mm.
We realized that the story we first pitched was what can be transformed into a much more
Mm.
deeper story about two kids or
Mm.
siblings, and it talks about how you care about animals and your siblings and the family dynamics of growing up in a family that's very uh chaotic, and how to find your place and how to learn to love not just for animals but other people as well. There.
Yes.
it's kind of like a mishmash between among our
Yes.
Yeah,
our experiences and
Mhm.
childhood. So it was very personal for us, I think. It's
Mm.
not 100% accurate, but it's
it's
a
pieces of
yeah, it's a
ourselves.
pieces of ourselves that we put into it. So it's kind of personal film for us. And like before that, it was very like we got it from something, or like
Yeah.
yeah, on the bits of it. But this one, I think it was the most personal film that we
I think,
did.
yeah, I agree. It's one of the most personal films we've made so
Mhm.
far, and it was kind of hard to do it too,
Mhm.
since you have to acknowledge all those feelings, and if we validate ourselves that
Mhm.
it's okay to feel those things,
Yeah.
and putting it into a story that could resonate with other people is an
Uh,
achievement too, since it's hard to to
yes,
share
for
a
sure.
piece of yourself for everybody to see the end.
Can I just share like in one moment? I think Anna and I cried at some point when we were brainstorming.
Yes.
Yeah, because it was so personal back then. Like, because I love cats, and
We
then
all have
we
them.
love cats. Like, we have
I mean,
cats, and
clearly you love
yeah.
cats for sure.
So,
Yeah. When we started writing it, it was actually them who really wrote the whole story. Julius's sister is part of our team. So when we all tried to brainstorm, we were talking about our relationships with our siblings, also our traumas. So it was like, other than the brainstorming, it was actually like a therapy session for us. We were like really
Mhm.
talking deep about our relationships. So that was the point where we really cried, and like maybe also we realized that there's like this certain realization that yeah, we all have like this moments that we do share our traumas, our hurt, our pain. Then eventually we realized that wait, do we all have the same coping mechanisms before? Do we have like we play games, we um enter into filmmaking, we create films about it. So yeah, I think that's when I think that helps when our relationships not just professional, but we're really good friends since then. So it was there was a big space for us to understand each other and to understand the feelings we have. So that's where we put in some parts of us, all of us, like some parts of all of
Mhm.
us into the film.
And I think knowing these uh these two in
These two
college,
these two guys.
we've I think we've cracked the code how to map how we work with
Mhm.
each other.
Mhm.
We know each other's quirks.
Mhm.
There's a
Uh,
shorthand already
yeah.
Mhm.
between you. Hmm.
Yeah.
So like we just fill in the gaps with like, oh, you just you know how to do this. Oh, you know how to do this. Like, okay, just fill me up, and then like let's do this together. Let's do it together, and we just form like a complete puzzle. Like, oh,
Mm.
we just work well. I think
Hmm.
surprise.
It's, we've had differences before. I think I think that's an it was an
It was part of it.
it was
I mean,
that's part.
it's like a canon event. Like we had to like arguments. Like we both had like a bad blood before, and we just
Hmm.
disconnected at some point. But then like okay, we're still like oh we missed this. Like
I think the friendship adds to the I think not just in how we craft the stories,
Mhm.
but how we uh deal with each other on set.
Yeah.
We
Hmm.
can be more, what's that word? More honest.
we're
We can be
Right.
more
Right.
honest with each other without being too offensive.
yeah.
Because I think some people take things too personally when you really say what I don't like this type of story, or I don't like this direction. But since we had differences before,
We already
Yeah.
know how. Yeah.
There's a transparency there that you can have um versus if it was just a professional relationship.
Yeah.
Um yeah, so um going from there, what was sort of the process like for you in terms of like you, I see that you were um doing the sort of festival circuit. I know obviously, you know, you had it come to New York. But sort of were you sort of shopping it around other festivals in Manila, in the Philippines? What was sort of that process like?
So I come.
Mhm. It was we released Hot Seat first. It was its world premieres where we got the grant, so it was in Sinica Bataan. Then eventually, Jomar started looking for festivals abroad. I don't think we have like any other festivals locally pa, no? Wala pa.
not
I'm
sure.
not sure.
Yeah, but
Okay.
there like most of the festivals that really were interested in Hot Seat was international. So I
Oh,
think
wow.
it,
Okay.
yeah, so I think that brought um I think that made it clear, I guess, that maybe this can go somewhere outside of the Philippines if it's not for here. So I think that's where we're going for. And yeah, I think that's the circuit we're trying to expound on. So there. So we were really happy that we got into New York.
Yeah.
No,
So
yeah. I mean, you brought it to Lincoln Center, so that's, you know, that's a very big deal. So where do you sort of see um coming from this experience, where do you guys see yourselves collectively as a creative team? Where are you guys headed from here? Are you already working on the next project or taking it slow? What's the next step?
We're planning. Actually, we have plans. Like we have like this timelines, and we have this like set of projects that we're planning to build. So right now, I think we're writing something. Like Julius is writing something. I'm writing something. Anna is writing something. And we have this like sometimes we consult each other. Oh, what if we co-write this? What if we co-write this? Like we want to like exponentially expand our collective. Like
yeah.
we want to be serious about this, and in 5 years time, like we want this to grow.
Mhm.
We're really serious about this. Like we want to be part of like Philippine cinema. Actually, like we want
Yeah.
to set a milestone for it. I know it's very ambitious, but Or you can see.
I mean, hey, you've already been to New York, that's obviously the next step from there.
Yeah, actually, like, so starting from here, like I think New York was like a sign for us, like, oh, we have this, some it's the
We've finally
university,
been recognized.
yeah, someone recognized our
Mhm.
work, not locally but also internationally, like, oh, I think something's about us that's there's a potential that we can pursue this, that we can continue this. So what if like next time, oh, let's more recognition, or like more work, more full length or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had uh short films that entered in local festivals before, but it's a different league once you've entered the international
International
scene.
scene.
It's a different
Right.
it's a different type of recognition, and I
Yeah.
think the New York New York was a validation for how we now perceive what type of stories we should do or what we could do. And I don't think we're stopping.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, it definitely seems like you're on a trajectory already. So yeah, I mean, um, yeah, it sounds like a good way to go. Um, so from there, I think I kind of just my last sort of question is, what advice do you have for any future um aspiring filmmakers, people who might want to pursue this as well? Um, any advice on how to sort of jumpstart their creativity?
I think it's more of finding the people that really understands and supports your vision, and you're also open to um standing by them with their vision and um their dreams. So I guess like finding those people, finding like the right tribe for you is the best advice that we could get. I mean, we found our team was developed like years back. Our friendship was years back. So I think that was the greatest investment.
Mm-hmm.
We may not have
Yeah,
money, but
definitely. Um,
So I guess yeah, that's other than the whole team itself, the whole perspective of different people in one team is really different. So that's what I appreciated the most working with them. Yeah.
And I think growing your knowledge within the filmmaking industry here in the Philippines, you really have to know what types of stories you want to do. Like it not just write a story that looks cool or feels cool, but something that you have something to say, or
right,
build a story that you know that's going to resonate with a lot of people, or advocate for really interesting stories that's really how should
Important?
important.
Relevant?
that's relevant today, because
Mm,
I think that's one of the hardest lessons we've had to learn since the beginning of our filmmaking
Mm.
projects. It's learning how to navigate the film industry through our voice.
Mhm.
mm.
yeah. So after, yeah, just collect everything. So yeah, yeah, your voice, and then you once you like collected that kind of what they want to do in filmmaking, what voice do you want to do, and what message do you want to deliver. So after that, I have to like collect. I mean, like surround yourself with people who are also passionate just like what Anna said. And also at the same time, filmmaking is very hard actually, to be honest, especially here in the Philippines,
Yeah.
especially the working condition and with all the budget that is very limited.
Constraints, yeah.
And all the constraints and all the limitations that that can hold us back. But then I hope that it doesn't stop us. Like it don't stop, and it takes a lot of like it takes a village to create a film. But then you as a filmmaker, I know it's very hard, and I know there's a lot of like privilege that's going to like how we did this, or how we're pursuing it right now. But then if we're going to strip all of that, what if we have this like passion, like if you really want to do this, and if you're really strong, if you're strong-willed, and if you have like oh, I really want to do this, and then you must, and if you have the calling, then you must do it. Like I
Mhm.
think you have to do it. But then don't
Ah.
forget, like sometimes we get like burnt out, or like we tend to like, oh, what is it really for me? And it's okay. It is part of the process, and we should not forget to rest. I think rest is very important. Like I think we stopped filmmaking for like at least 3 years or 4 years. I
Yeah,
think.
it's
Yeah,
2 or 3 years after the pandemic. Yeah, during the
during
pandemic,
pandemic.
we
Mm.
really set filmmaking aside.
And
We pursued our day jobs
yeah.
just to feed our selves
Mhm.
because it's hard pursuing filmmaking in a third world country like the Philippines because
Yeah.
not a lot of support gets to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like you have to really climb. But then
Mhm.
but the after like showing your film to the audiences, getting that, oh, I really relate to your film, it transcends to my to my being, like, oh my god, I really love your film, like that kind of reaction, like it, I just would put it, just
It's a rewarding
it's a
feeling.
rewarding, it's a rewarding feeling, like oh, I think this is really what I want, like after like giving it to the audiences, and then they have like feedbacks, like whether they like it or not, like oh. Oh, like,
Yeah, sometimes we read the letterbox reviews and
oh, this is this is
Ah.
got the message.
this guy liked it. This guy,
Yeah.
but it's okay.
It's okay.
It doesn't deter us from
Yeah.
making more or creating more stories. But I think it's we take it as a lesson or an inspiration to how to improve our craft.
You can follow all of Johmar, Anna, and Julius's work with Gate 11 Collective on Facebook and Instagram at g811.co. Cultivate is produced, presented, and conceived by Jessica Taghap and is a resident artist production. Our intro music is by Bodan Kuzmin, and our outro is by Taffy Rhythm. New episodes available every Friday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and Substack. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Cultivate Pod, and get updates on residentartist.substack.com. I'm Jessica Taghap, and until next time, keep on creating.